Look how red Neil's gone. He's as red as his t-shirt. This is the voice of the Mr. O.
Hello and welcome to the Miserable Metal Mind podcast. This is episode number 19. A podcast involving three metal fans of a similar age and heritage. Two of these fans like to listen to new heavy metal music, one of them does not. Once a month we meet up for recommendations for him and you to try to change his miserable metal mind.
And it never works.
Does sometimes. So as Paul is still taking a break, we once again have podcaster and friend Mr. Carl Black.
You good enough to invite me back.
Right,
we had no choice. Everybody else said no.
We often have guests helping us in this task, and today is one of those times once more. Would you please welcome the singer-guitar player for one of my favourite bands in the world? Put your hands together and cheer for the Duke of Disgrace. Say hello for Rutger from Gnome.
Hey!
Hello, hello.
Nice to see you, sir.
How are you, pal?
I'm doing great.
Oh.
Where's that come from? Hey!
Did that come through?
It did.
All right.
So,
I'm doing.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Very good, very good, very good.
All right.
Whereabouts are you from, Rutger?
I'm from Antwerp.
Super.
So I'm pretty
In Belgium?
Much, yeah, I'm pretty much your neighbor.
Yeah.
Although with Brexit,
Well, if you're my neighbour, can you turn the noise down?
Your island floated away a couple of meters with Brexit, but
Yeah.
still
Sorry,
pretty
sorry
close.
about
Yeah, we are sorry. We are sorry about that as well.
that. Blame Neil.
Why blame me?
Because you had all the flags up and everything.
Oh, you're such a knob. I never did.
I was going to say, Rutger, how much has that altered things for you in a band from Europe that we're now, no longer part? Is it drastic? Is it not really?
Well, the biggest changes as a musician, our biggest fan bases are in the UK, Germany, and the States. So I think we tour the UK every year for at least a week or two. What changed is now we need international passports to cross the border, and we are more likely to get our van is more likely to get checked for illegal substances or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to turn into another Howard Marks, do you?
No.
That's what he did, didn't he?
Other than that, not much of an issue. I think the English have actually more problems than we have with trade stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't turn you off coming. You don't think, oh God, got to go to England. It's all this extra stuff we got to do. It's doable.
It's very doable. We just hop in our van. We drive to Calais in France. We go on the Eurostar on the train, which ends us up in. I always want to say Dover, but it's not Dover. It's in where is it?
Folkestone,
it's the ferries that go to Dover. Folkestone, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just get out, and usually the border control, we look like decent dudes. Apparently, they just let us go through.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But since last year, we bought a ginormous trailer because we have too many boxes with merch and amps and stuff. So now if we're trying to cross with the van and a big trailer, chances are a lot higher that we will be stopped to to see what we're bringing over the border.
Cool.
Another thing, I used to buy books online on the Book Depository, which is an English place. I don't do it anymore because the import costs are too high.
Oh well.
So you lost a customer there.
Again, blame Neil.
Oh, come on!
Oh yeah, and for our fans, when we're shipping records to England, the shipping costs have risen substantially as well.
Yeah.
But if you toured here more, you could just say, look, we'll post them out when we're in the UK.
Yeah, we got the giant trailer anyhow, so...
Yeah. Think how much money it's going to save you.
Well,
No,
you should be a tour manager, Simon.
Well, hey. I'm open.
Open profit.
Yeah, we know.
Another job. So what?
No, Brexit and touring in England is absolutely nothing compared to the costs of trying to tour in the States. That's what's just absolutely unaffordable for, I think, any European musician at the moment.
Right.
Is that what's the biggest
Right.
expenditure? Is it literally physically getting out there, and once you're out there, or is it, you just burn money when you're out there?
No, the biggest price tag, I think, is just the legality of the whole thing. Getting your work visa, because when we go over, we play festivals. Festivals, you can't just pay under the counter in cash. It has to be done legally. But if a musician from abroad travels to the States to play, they're actually just a foreign worker working in America, and for that you need to have a working visa. They are very expensive. You have to go to the American embassy. I had to go to the American embassy in Brussels to see if you don't have a criminal history and whatnot. And we had to pay an American law firm so that they could legally invite us to come and work in America, or you won't be you won't be let through with a work visa. It's those things are just ridiculously expensive. And then on top you get the flights, and America, it's a ginormous country, so the money you spend on gas is also quite substantial to get from city to city, state to state. And another thing, in Europe, many venues in Europe, especially in Germany, they oftentimes house you. So you play there. They take care of your food, and they also oftentimes take care of your housing. In America, they don't. You have to sleep in hotels. You have to pay for your own gas, which makes it all just really expensive. Yeah,
You're on your own, basically.
Yeah.
It must be worth it though, because you wouldn't be doing it, would you? I don't mean necessarily financially, but worth it for doing it.
So we've only done one US tour so far. A short one. It was 3 weeks. We lost more money than we made, but it's a bucket list thing, Having toured the States, it was an amazing trip. But if we have the opportunity to go back, I think we would try to turn it into a profit, because and it's not easy. It really isn't. And it's become exponentially more expensive to tour there compared to 5 years ago, compared to 10 years ago, where we're at a point now where I'm pretty sure small bands and mid-level bands just financially can't go to the States, which sucks most of all for the States, because for the big European bands, like for instance Rammstein, Judas Priest, these guys will always be able to play there, but it's tinier bands. It's gonna dry up in America a little bit, I'm afraid.
And it's the Americans that are losing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your fault as well, Neil?
Because there's this
Yeah, is that my fault, Simon?
Yeah, definitely.
Neil's and Trump's fault, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Do not put me in the same sentence.
What was fault or Trump?
No, it's. I think they are losing out because Europeans are spoiled. You know, in the UK, in Central Europe, in Scandinavia, there's just so many good bands in metal, in rock, in stoner, in doom. In the States, there's a whole bunch of them too, but it's such a big country, and there's so many places in the middle of Colorado or something, and you're just so far away from good cities or good venues. Even for Americans, if you're an American musician and you live on the East Coast, it's quite an expense to tour the West Coast, for instance, just because the country is so damn big. But in the UK,
you've got to get over there as well.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
You're starting at the furthest away point as well, so it's dearer to get over there, more expensive to get there.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's sure.
I've got my tickets, so I'm all right with that though.
What, for the American leg? That's a.
Well, I'm having to go. I'm having to go to Scotland to see you, Rutger, because you're not playing anywhere near me. So I'm having to drive 200 miles. I'm near Manchester.
Okay.
So it's a 200-mile drive.
Where are you playing, Rutger?
But we're playing London, aren't we?
That's
that
true. Yeah, that's.
Honestly, it's better to go to Scotland than London.
Don't listen to him, it ain't.
Sorry, Carl.
Traffic wise, it probably would be. Yeah, let me see. Yeah. We have Brighton, London, Birmingham, Glasgow, Pontefract, and Swansea. You
could have gone Pontefract.
Pontefract is closer, but Glasgow's a Saturday night, so there's 4 of us going up. We're going to spend the weekend there.
I'll tell you why he doesn't want to go Pontefract. Full of Welsh people.
Pontefract's nowhere near Wales.
Is it not?
No.
Where's Pontefract?
Nowhere near Wales.
I've heard there's a lot of them that went there, though.
I have never heard of it before.
I'm only saying that because Paul's not here.
No, Pontefract's closer, but it's a midweek gig, so yeah, we're going to go up on a Saturday. Oh, we're going on Friday.
Nottingley and Castleford. It's near Leeds.
Oh, get over there. Oh, hang on. Leeds.
Yeah.
I still seem to go Scotland.
Kind of between Sheffield and Leeds.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Are any of these dates sold out, Rutger?
I have no idea.
All right.
I have no idea at all.
Neil, any of the dates sold out?
I don't know. I got my ticket. That's all I care about.
Whereabouts in Scotland are you playing?
Glasgow.
Whereabouts in Glasgow?
The Cat House.
Yes. All right. Cat House Club.
Have you been, Simon?
Yes.
I haven't. Have you played?
I've played a couple of places in Glasgow, but I can't remember them.
Right. But you've been to. Am I going to get in if they know you? If they know I know you, are they going to let me in?
No.
I've only played one Scottish show so far, which was in Edinburgh.
Okay.
In goddamn, it was the basement of a bar. Fuck me. I'll figure it out.
I want to say Bannerman's, but I think Bannerman's is Aberdeen.
It was Bannerman's.
There you go. I played it.
Bannerman's.
Seen it, played it.
Yeah, you didn't pay to get it. Didn't play
to
get in.
No.
It was Bannerman's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
There you go.
Mention Simon's name, you get.
See that, Carl? Knowledge is power.
Yes.
I know my venues.
Too bad my brain is a sieve.
Yeah, you've got a lot more dates to remember than we do.
Oh, I don't. I do the songwriting and the guitar playing. I leave the other stuff up to the other guys. Usually they just take me along, and I'll see where I end up. I really had to do my homework to know where the tour is going and stuff.
Are you touring Europe as well, apart from the UK?
Yes, we have a tiny tour at the end of March, which will be 4 German dates and 2 2 dates in the Netherlands. Then in May we have the tiny UK tour. Then we have a whole bunch of just independent shows, I guess.
Don't call it the tiny UK tour. Call it the massive important UK tour.
Yeah, I'm calling it tiny because it's just a week, but
okay.
It's massive and important. And then we might have another tour in November, which would probably be more of Germany and maybe some of Scandinavia, but not all of that has been booked yet, so I'm not sure. I
think you've been announced for Bloodstock as well, haven't you?
Yes, for August it is.
Yes.
Let me have a look here. It's the 7th of August.
Yeah. I've been going...
Sophie stage the 10th?
Yeah.
Inside? Oh, yeah, I think you'll smash it in there.
Yeah.
I hope you do.
I don't want to give anything away for the review, but I think you'll smash it in
there. Yeah. Well, I've been going every year since 2008, and I haven't got a ticket. I haven't got a ticket yet. Can't get one.
I've been going every year since it was in the sports hall.
No, since it's 2008. Just because I go to gigs, you don't.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you've been doing, part.
Okay. Go on then. What have you been doing, Simon? What are you going to tell us?
Well, I'm going to a gig.
Hey!
And it'll be no surprise to anybody. It's another freebie for me.
That's not a surprise.
But it's a band I've never seen. King Diamond.
All right.
Look at that.
Are they shit?
I don't like. I don't like King
I've
Diamond.
I've got a blind spot for King Diamond. I should like him, but I don't. His voice winds me up a little bit.
His voice winds me up.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fez, if you're listening, I might not be coming. Rutger?
Well,
Rutger, what do you think of King Diamond?
I don't listen to King Diamond. So
there you go. 3-1. I'm not going.
I don't have much of an opinion on them because it's a band I rarely listen to. I couldn't even tell you what their most famous song is.
Well,
Abigail,
listen, I've heard about 2 King Diamond songs, so I'm going to go without listening to anything. And then just see what the experience is.
I think you might be beating the traffic on the way out, to be honest with you, Si. I think you'll take an early bath.
Yeah.
According to Spotify, Abigail is their most famous song, and I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Yeah. Actually, it headlined Bloodstock one year, and I walked off. It didn't do it for me.
Ooh.
It's a big name, though.
It's a big name, definitely.
But I must admit, we have quite a big metal festival each year, Grasspop.
Yep.
And I've seen King Diamond on the list of bands numerous times because I go there every year, and I don't think I've ever seen them live, even though I was there. But there's just so many bands to see at Grasspop.
I was like that years ago with a lot of festivals when Motorhead were playing. I never went to watch them either.
Oh, yeah. I have a weird.
I don't feel like I missed anything.
Shocking.
They're playing at the Manchester Academy.
Who? Motorhead?
King Diamond. That's where it's at.
All right.
Yeah, Motorhead. It's just Dane's dad.
I do have a weird black hole about Motorhead because that's a band I do love. And I've seen them numerous times at Grasspop, and each time they were playing, I was so drunk, I don't remember anything about their show. And now Lemmy's dead, so
I think he'd approve of that comment.
It's what he would have wanted.
I don't think he'd be upset with that.
I think you watched.
It is.
Yeah, I think you saw them in the spirit the band wanted you to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen them sober.
That's why everybody likes them. When you're stone cold sober like me, that's why you think not for me.
Yeah, all those drunks.
Although I was going to say, Neil, wasn't don't we know the bass player in King Diamond? Isn't that the Welsh girl that Paul was on about?
Yeah, she's not Welsh, but yeah.
Oh, she's not Welsh?
No.
Paul's Welsh, though?
Yes.
Is someone on this podcast Welsh?
Becky's not Welsh.
Is she not?
No.
But is she in King Diamond?
Yeah.
The band is Danish.
Yes. But
but they swap a lot of members about, I think, from what I know. And
Becky
the other
Baldwin.
guy that's
Becky Baldwin should be on the bass.
right.
Yeah.
And it's someone. Well, I'm not saying we know her, but the other guy who usually does a podcast, I think he knows her.
It's actually the frontman's stage name is King Diamond, so the musicians it takes along can change up all the time, probably.
There you go. Idea for your side project there, Rutger. The rest of them are, they get boring. You can just start your own band.
They get too fat.
Yeah.
When's that, Simon? When's that gig?
30th of June.
Oh,
it's a long time.
It's a long time off that.
At the minute, that's my only gig.
Right.
Unless you want to take me out again somewhere, Neil.
Not till you pay for that last one.
Is that where we're going now?
That's exactly where we're at.
You should have asked me. I had the cash in my pocket on the night.
Well, you never offered to pay me.
I know, but all your mates were there and I didn't want to embarrass you.
By paying me?
Yeah.
Accepting money for goods
it's just
is very
awkward,
embarrassing.
then, isn't it? Yeah, it's awkward, isn't it, then?
Because you weren't paying them either.
Yeah, I don't even think I bought a drink.
You did actually buy me a drink.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, well, there you go. So I've paid you back.
Yeah, okay. Carl, have you been to any gigs? I know you've not been to any. You got anything booked? Anything doing?
Booked? I think Naffle actually is. I was looking at going to the Judas Priest, Alice Cooper, and Phil Campbell gig at the O2 because that's around about my birthday. But it's one of those things. No one wants to go with me, so I'll go on my own. Sod it, I'll go on my own. But you have to buy 2 tickets on the O2 website. I mean, what's that all about? You know what I mean? I think I just want one.
Wow.
Just want one. They go, whoa. Can't have one because that will leave gaps in the rows. Can't have that. So you can have 2 at £80 odd, and then pay all the booking fee and the facilities charge. I only want one. I only want one. So I'm just going to wait until. But yeah, I think I might go to that because I'm not going to go to Bloodstock this year. There's not enough for me. So on one particular day, but those 3 bands, every single song, because I think Phil Campbell's doing a Motorhead special. It will be that I know every single song of every single band from all the sets. So that's priceless, isn't it? How often can you say that?
Not often.
So I've got.
Can you not get standing tickets? Not get a standing ticket?
That's not standing.
So it's the whole place is seated?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, it's all sectioned off on that. Yeah. Unless you want to pay Alice Cooper Diamond package of being in the 3rd row of the front section for £285.
Oh, the splash zone.
So, Rutger, what day are you on at Bloodstock?
I do believe the 7th. The 7th, which would be, I would have to look at my calendar.
I think that's a Thursday.
That is.
The Thursday, I think.
Thursday.
Yeah.
There you go, Carl. Just go Bloodstock on the Thursday.
I could do.
You know what? I don't think you can actually get Thursday tickets on their own.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Rutger.
Yeah.
I think you're going to need someone to help you with your guitars and your microphones. It's Carl's birthday. You've heard this. There's nothing to do. He'd love to go Bloodstock for a Thursday day. There you go. All you have to do is say you're the roadie.
I can handle that, I reckon.
Neil, hook them up with the 4 numbers.
Oh.
Not to put you on the spot here, Rutger, but it is his birthday.
Not that we're going to get you to sing for your supper, Rutger, but it's.
So it's your birthday on the 7th?
No, near the Alice Cooper and Judas Priest gig in July.
Okay.
All right. Not far off.
No, it's
can be a late. It can be a late birthday present.
It could well be.
Well, we should meet up at Bloodstock and have a drink, though.
There you go. Look at Neil. Neil's googling Bloodstock tickets now.
I've been googling them for a while. I can't get hold of any. I will do.
Why have you not got some?
They sold out. They sold out in front of me.
Oof. Already sold out.
No pressure, Rutger.
How big is the festival?
I think it's 12. I think it's 12,000 now.
Oh, I thought it was a bit bigger than that. I thought it was about 17.
I can hear a keyboard clicking. So
I see here. Oh no, wait. Wait a moment. Lots of
Always
capacity.
makes good radio.
20,000
20.
Right.
Oh, wow.
daily.
20,000 and they've no space for Neil.
I'll get it.
How many days is it?
If you count the Thursday, it's 4 days.
4 days, yeah.
So Thursday's a bit of a sneaky extra day, to be honest.
They don't open the main stage, the outdoor stage on that day, do they?
No.
Oh, it's
good inside the tent, though.
It's very good.
Yeah. We had a very good afternoon there, didn't we, Neil? Suicidal.
Oh, Suicidal, yeah.
I was there
I
that
thought you were
day,
talking about Dora Pesh.
No, she was all right, but she wasn't suicidal.
Yeah, Suicidal were good.
Yeah.
Let me have a look.
Some
at
of
the
us
lineup.
might have made it onto the video.
Yes, you did, and you've mentioned it.
Oh, did I? Oh, sorry.
I've not been to any gigs yet. My first one is Opeth, beginning of March.
Oh, God. Why? Just think how much more money you'd have if you didn't go watching that band.
I love that band.
Who, Opeth?
Yeah.
Does anybody love Opeth?
Gig
I'm
sold out.
telling you, Simon, there's a whole underbreed of loyal fans ready to walk over hot coals to see that band. Yeah,
Really?
there is.
Oh yeah.
And you don't know who they are, so
Is-
if you say something bad, they'll come and bite your legs. Do you know what I mean?
Opeth is
Catch me first.
Opeth is like a cult movie.
Yeah.
Some people are not moved by it at all, and then there's people who are absolutely convinced it's the greatest band in the world.
I am the latter.
There's a whole bunch of them. Oh yeah, and they are.
There can only be one greatest band in the world, but you
That's
seem
true.
to have about 20 of them.
Yeah, it depends what minute it is. Depends when you ask me.
Is it all?
I never lie.
What type of music are they, Opeth?
Oh, a bunch.
Yeah.
A what?
They started out as. I think you know more about them than I do. I think they started out quite brutal, quite black, but then they went on some sort of more floaty psychedelic thing.
Yep.
And now they do a whole bunch of whatever. I'm not quite sure even.
It's great. It's right up your street, Simon.
Is it?
Yeah. Short songs, first chorus.
Google says progressive metal. So they do exactly the same as what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think our Google says the same.
It does actually. It does. Yeah.
Ah,
You do get the
interesting.
stoner. You get the stoner tag, don't you?
Hmm?
You get the stoner tag as well, don't you?
I don't think we do.
Oh.
Funny thing, about a year or maybe 2 years ago, we found out that we have a Wikipedia page, which has not been written by any of us, and it's very accurate. But weirdest of all, the genre that's placed on our name on the Wikipedia page was bubble grunge. And
I've never heard that.
No, I had never heard of it either.
Who else is bubble
I don't think
grunge?
I'm
Who
gonna-
else could you put in that category?
I don't think I'm going to use that term.
What the hell is bubble grunge? Yeah, I don't know what bubble grunge is. But the thing is, we started out as a stoner band, an instrumental stoner band, but we kind of transformed into something what I would just call heavy guitar music. It's somewhere between metal and rock.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about that, about the first album being mainly instrumental, apart from one track. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, let's sing on everything. What made you decide to go from one to the other?
Well, the first record is quite experimental because we were literally just still looking for our sound, looking for our thing. So many of the songs are a whole bunch of guitar riffs piled on top of each other. Some of them outstayed their welcome, but some of them work quite well. But there was one song, Father of Time, on which we sang, and we just immediately noticed that was the song most people wanted to hear live. That was the song many people gelled to, just because it had some kind of a vocal hook they could latch on to, sing along with. And it was clear from the get-go for us, because I'm also not a very good singer, that the guitar riffs and melodies, that's what Gnome music is about. And vocals come in secondary. But it does give a lot for people to latch onto if you add some vocals. So I just by the time the second album came around, I think it has 8 songs, 4 of which are instrumental, 4 of which have vocals, because we were trying to figure out, all right, is this a direction we need to head in deeper? And lo and behold, the 2 biggest songs, the 2 breakthrough songs on the album, both had vocals, and they all did better than the instrumental ones. So yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer to just keep adding vocals. We're never gonna write songs like pop songs are written, with just some written guitar and everything is vocal melody. On the contrary, it's always gonna remain guitar melody and guitar riffs first, and then every once in a while there'll be some monkeys, some shouting in the background that you can sing along with. That's the idea.
Marvellous. Right. Question answered.
I don't want to say too much until we review the actual album, though. That's the thing.
Well, talking of which, then, shall we move on to the albums?
Warning. Please take all negative comments in the tongue-in-cheek manner they are intended. Basically, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
All right, Carl, do you want to go first with your
Oh, we're
offering?
going first, are we? With mine? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, you go first,
Fair
Bob.
enough. Okay, so I've kind of done myself, because, as you may know, I'm not great at pronouncing weird names in different languages. So I've sort of done myself here. My one's Lowen, band called Lowen, and the album's called Do Not Go to War with the Demons of Mazandaran.
You can have that.
Okay, 8.2 for that, for the pronunciation. A couple of years ago, I stumbled upon a podcast on the BBC Sounds called The Missing Crypto Queen, and it was right up my street. It was brilliant. It was all about a Bulgarian lady, a doctor, who started a cryptocurrency, and basically just said, I've started a cryptocurrency, buy loads of it, didn't do any of the admin, and then just disappeared in very mysterious circumstances. And the backing music they had, because she was Bulgarian and they were going to Bulgaria, they had the Bulgarian orchestra with a operatic singer called, I think her name was Mariana Batislava. And it was absolutely haunting and beautiful. And I was like, oh, God, this vocal is just so good. Fast forward, I became a bit possessed with the podcast because it was so good. Fast forward, I all of a sudden stumble across this band. I don't know where I got it from. And it was almost like Mariana Blatislava singing over a thrash sort of progressive metal band. And that's what it's like. It's like this beautiful singing over this real dirty, heavy band. And when I first started listening to it, I think, okay, the band are so-so, but the vocals are amazing. And the more the album went on, the more I kind of fell in love with the vocals, really. So much so that now the band have caught up, and as I've listened to it more and more, it's just sort of like grown and grown and grown on me. So yeah, they again progressive. Doom is in there, but they also say with Middle Eastern influences as well, which you can hear. And the track for the playlist was Raging War Against God, just for that vocal part at the end where she sings by herself, which absolutely got me. Still remember where I was when I was driving into work when I first heard that. It's just brilliant, and I love it. And so when My first album got turned down because it was about 6 months old. It was this one.
6 months? He was about 4 years old.
Listen, the Black Album's a classic album.
Bonded by Blood was out,
Where
so
are-
I had to then think quick of another one, and this one was a dead easy choice. So interesting to see what you guys think.
Okay.
Where are they
Oh,
from?
London.
Lowen.
London. Yeah, Lowen are from London.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you pronounce the title of the second track?
No, if you're asking me like that, I'm going to say the answer will be no.
I'll give it a go. Let me just get it up.
Because that's not English.
So this, as Carl says, the singer is not.
So is she Bulgarian then, or she just reminds you of the Bulgarian
She just
singer?
reminds me. I think
I'm not sure of her
I
heritage.
think she is English, but she's got Middle Eastern heritage. I think.
Oh, I can just copy paste the title into ChatGPT and ask him what language it is, right?
Oh my God, yeah, there's not a chance. Go on, Carl, have a
I'll
go.
have a go. Let me get it up first. Let's have a look. I might have done myself.
That's what she
Jangba
said.
Davahala Mazandaran.
Yes, exactly.
Did ChatGPT say like a tanga? Ba da ba da?
Yeah, well, I like it. I like it myself. I like the cool Middle Eastern vibe. The vocals they're quite high in the mix, aren't they? It's very important to the band. She's very important to the band. But the crunchy riffs and the dirty music that Carl mentioned, it's still quite impressive. It's still quite good. They're not just relying on her vocals, so that's I think that's quite a good thing. But she can sing, can't she?
She is hauntingly brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. But as you know, I'm a fan of this genre. I think it is a bit quite doomy, not as fresh as you were thinking, Carl. Maybe, but yeah, it's still heavy. But yeah, I'm happy with this, Carl. Very much like this album. I was listening to it before you mentioned it as well.
Cool.
So
I looked it up, and the phrase you just uttered appears to be in Mazandarani, an Iranian language spoken in the Mazandaran province in northern Iran.
there we go.
There you go.
So now you know.
School education and humour, hopefully.
Yes.
Everything you could need. Rutger, what did you think of the album?
How does this work? Are we gonna listen to this track?
No.
Yeah,
Just
or
discuss it. Yeah.
No.
Not allowed to play it.
Spotify won't let us.
I've listened through the entire album today for the first time around noon. I was playing a video game, so I was not always very focused on the music. I liked it overall. I did feel like because she has some very intricate things she does with her voice, the singer. But then I noticed that she does it in every song on the album, and I felt like it somehow kind of overstated its welcome. Some of the songs I was like wishing for a change to a different chord or something, and it just kept on going. But other than that, very, very cool sound, nice songs, interesting stuff. It's not particularly my cup of tea, but I enjoyed it, and I do believe that I would need more listens as well. If it's possible for it to grow on me, I would need to listen to it more.
So when you say it's not your cup of tea, what is your cup of tea?
So, my cup of tea in metal and heavy music in general, or just music? the
Whichever you want
broadest
to.
of
Yeah,
terms.
both really.
Because I prefer listening to authentic stuff. And in the broader sense of music, it's quite easy to pin this down. I don't like electronic music. I prefer things that are made with actual instruments over computerized music. But then to specify the heavier guitar genres, what we're seeing in the last 10, 20 years is an absolute increase in the digitalization of the instruments used and the recording techniques used in music in heavy music. I tend to flock towards bands that record in more of an old school way.
Yeah.
You know, guitars and bass plugged into amps, mics in front, record. The drums just the same. Put them in a room that sounds good, mics in front, and record it.
We've spoke about this before because Simon's actually a big advocate of that kind of sound. He like dirty.
Me
Just
too.
dirty.
Me too. We that's how we record our music as well. That doesn't mean that music that does it differently can be good. Absolutely not. I just tend to not easily flow towards those. I feel. Yeah. But then again, if you, and that's for me, it's a difficult line because in metal, in many modern metal bands, the drums are all quantized. They all use triggers and samples, and it becomes more and more of a pure tone, but less and less of a human feel, if you know what I mean. And for guitars, I feel kind of a similar vibe. Many guitar players these days don't use a big amp with lamps, but they just plug in straight into a digital recording device, and they use some presets and software for their sound, which is cool, but I feel like it's lacking something. One thing I like, one of the first heavy bands I got into when I was a kid was Jimi Hendrix. And Jimi Hendrix has a very filthy sound and a filthy way of playing. You can hear his fingers wipe over the strings, and you can hear his pick, and you can hear him make tiny mistakes, and it's nasty, which makes it heavy. But in the digitalization of metal, those things disappear. It becomes so clean and so technically correct that I'm kind of missing the human touch, the human feel. And I think what I felt listening to this album, her voice is, of course, very human. Because, it's straight from her mouth, from her throat. But the drums and the guitars have what I don't, what I don't flow towards, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Simon, come on, lad. What were you thinking?
Come on, lad. All right, here we go. Well, let's start with the good points. I listened to it all. It started, then it finished. For me, the first 4 songs are a clone of each other. They just merge and one follows the other, and you don't really know unless you're looking at the track as you're going along. For me, it just all sounded the same. I cannot stand that singer.
Oh,
it is just a woman warbling over some power chords. It was awful. I just wanted her to shut up, or at best, just sing something, anything, not this.
It's not. It's not as bad as that.
Every song is this. And as that's doing that, she's going. And then every now and then you'll get the guitar go. Again, doing the old death metal riff, and the drums are just nearly the same beat in every song. That drum is all over the place. It's just bam 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 bam.
So you liked it then?
No.
It's almost like listening to it again just there. It's almost, I'm getting emotional just listening to
There you go. There you go. Honestly, I'm expecting the letter for copyright infringement coming through the door.
Well, I do get what you mean, because what I said about some of the songs overstaying their welcome,
Absolutely.
and some parts in some songs, that's a similar feeling I was having. Because as I said, I was playing a video game, and at a certain,
you just didn't know when it started.
No,
when it
at
ended.
a certain moment, I went back to the Spotify playlist, and I'm already on track number 5, and it feels like it's been the same song the entire time.
Exactly. Having said that, I have put down that I thought song 5 isn't terrible. I think that's probably the best song on the album.
Maybe that's why I went. That's why I went back to Spotify.
I think on track 5 it does sound a little bit different.
Yeah.
And whether she is singing just something a little bit different than what she does in the first 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bit of a gamble.
Absolutely hated
like
it.
The singing, you're going to have a tough time with it. You know what I mean? Because the singing dominates the record. So it was a bit of a gamble.
Oh yeah. So. And like Rutger said,
because he didn't want,
and like
because
Rutger
I
said,
wasn't allowed to have, the first Beatles album because I thought it was, it got dismissed as being too vintage. I had to think of something.
Yeah, but like Rutger said, the sound, the drums, it's something I've said before. It's a digital sound, and you can tell it's a digital.
It's very
sound.
clean, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like Rutger. I want to hear the scratches on the guitar strings. I want to hear a stick hitting the rim and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. It's not as clean as last month's, though, is it?
No, what was last month?
Dendera.
That's awful.
It was awful.
But look, I don't like unoriginality, and they are original. She has a very unique singing style.
It is different. It is different, isn't it?
But what I was lacking, especially after song 3 or 4, indeed, was she can sing something else. I want to hear something else as well. And as Carl, was it, I think, said, if it's not your cup of tea, the way she sings, then you're not gonna like it, because
you're gonna struggle
with
all of it.
Sings the entire album without taking a breath.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hear a woman warbling for
don't say it.
Minutes,
I knew this was
then this is it. This is it. What? Don't say what?
All right, you didn't do.
So, yeah.
Score draw that one.
Score draw. I hope you guys weren't expecting me to be in the modern day metal camp against Simon, because I'm more of an old school guy when it comes to metal, actually.
No, all we want is honesty. That is all we want.
Great.
Right, so as Carl said, we'll go for 2. You didn't hate it, did you, Rutger?
No, I didn't hate it.
I didn't
hate it. I didn't hate it. Didn't love it. I was pleased with the unique things she did. She at some point she does some kind of stuff, which is neat. But I wasn't loving it either. I might find new things interesting about it if I give it a second or third listen, but right now I'm not very thrilled about the idea of listening through it again. It did overstay its welcome a little bit for me.
I tell you, have you ever heard of a band called Manugi High?
Manugi High? Never heard it.
They do a song. I only know one song, so I don't think I know them all, but they do a song called Baba. Baba, Baba, Baba.
What are you talking about now?
He's talking about Baba.
Yeah, by Manugi High. Got to clean your ears out.
But what's that?
But because it's a woman singer, it's a woman singer in Manugi High, and she reminds me a lot of what this singer could be.
Okay.
Because
are they old?
While her voice and tone is quite similar, but she's actually singing along to like a rock band.
So are they old? Are they modern? Are they old? Are they?
I have no idea.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Simon! Half a story. Pretend like you know what you're talking about, and then it crumbles under questioning.
I happened upon them by complete chance.
What?
The song I like is Baba from 2009.
So they must be. So they must be reasonably.
I just
Yeah,
googled
Rutger,
Manugi.
I think you'd like it.
I just googled Manugi Hi Umbaba, and Google says no. There's nothing.
Listen,
But I don't
Simon's iTunes says yes.
I don't know how to spell it though.
No.
Look,
Umbaba.
There you
Sounds
go.
good.
there you go.
Yeah, I can't read that.
No, I can't read that. I also don't trust him.
Yeah.
It also says Neil is a prick.
You know, I could read that bit.
What? Yeah, was it? I think May Your Ghost Drink Pure Wine. I thought was maybe the best.
That's
song
the
on
fifth
that
one
album.
that you mentioned, wasn't it?
Yeah.
May your
Well, I will
ghost drink
say,
pure water.
It stopped. It stopped after number 6. It just started playing again, and I hadn't realised because I was timing it, thinking surely this must be over, and I looked and I'm back at song 1 again. So
Right. We better move on because we're on 51 minutes and we've only done one album yet. Right.
What's
so
the usual goal? Under an hour?
about
30 minutes. 30 minutes. we did that on Pontefract.
Oh, Pontefract. I'm going to have fun in Pontefract.
you are.
You'll think of us. You'll say this nowhere near Wales. This. What's he on about?
Okay, we'll move on to my choice then. As I have mentioned before, I do get unwarranted grief for my picks on here and other places as well. So I went to go a little bit different this time. Not just different for different sake. I do really like this album. I bring you
Oh shit.
God is an Astronaut and the album Embers. Yes, you could say it's not metal, but it's metal adjacent, so I'm having it. They're from Ireland. They're an instrumental band whose first album was released in 2002. The sound is highly atmospheric, and that atmospheric sound is a chilled one. Perfectly talented musicians create tracks that could be calming and uplifting at the same time, in my opinion. I believe this is their 12th album, but for me it is their first, but I do love it. I played around with some of the earlier stuff and I'm going to continue to do so. This album chills me out after thinking about what Simon is going to say about this album. But I have to be honest, the tracks featuring Joe Quayle do leave me a little cold. Most of the tracks are quite long, which I love, but Simon hates, so I love them more. Amongst this beauty, I will choose Apparition for the playlist, and I will ask you guys what you think of God is an Astronaut. I'll go to Carl first.
I'm just getting a bit emotional because it's so sad. It's just so sad, isn't it? I just feel like I just get so sad when I listen to it.
Carl, listen, I'd say listen to My Dying Bride to cheer you up, but it'll just tip you over the edge.
This is more sad, like your goldfish has died, though. Do you know what I mean? Not sort of,
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Yeah.
It's almost some of it, mate. Reminded me a bit like emo, a bit like
No, not having that.
Lonely
No,
the Brave and things
No.
like that, mate. Yeah, it did. It did almost. So in between, you got a new emo.
Oh,
band, mate.
God.
You listen to My Chemical Romance. That'll be the next album on. You took the words out of my mouth there. It was going along quite nicely. I could listen to it. I wasn't jumping up and down doing circle pits to it because you can't, because it's very peaceful and
No.
in places it was quite uplifting, but mainly just a bit sad. And yeah, Joe Quayle, I was in danger with the instrumental nature of it. I think with instrumental stuff, you've got to get that guitar singing to me. It's got to really replace the vocals and give me that distinct riff, which it did in places.
Yeah.
But certainly the songs that Joe Quayle did, it kind of went into movie soundtrack kind of territory. And I know people...
It exactly does.
And
it does.
I know a lot of people say, oh, yes, I listen to movie because it's, the atmosphere and all the rest of it. And God love them, and that's up to them. But not for me. And, I won't want to listen to that. And that's almost, those songs are almost 10, 15 minutes worth of the album. And it's only like 50 odd minutes long. So in that respect, it did drag a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I don't think they particularly need a vocalist. I think they, they rattle on quite nicely with the guitar riffs. But I just think there are other bands and instrumentals that I like better, where they really make that guitar sing, and it's a little bit more positive to listen to, and I don't have to think about my goldfish dying.
So, Rutger, did it remind you of a dying pet?
No, it didn't. I quite liked it, actually.
Yes!
I don't think I've ever listened to God is an Astronaut, but I do think I have heard of the band name before. Just like the album before, I listened to it today, right after the Lowen album. I was still playing video games. And this was a different vibe. You can't hate the vocalist, because there ain't no vocalist. As mentioned before, it was a very uplifting vibe. Kind of happy, peaceful, which was nice, I think. I preferred the overall sound of this album in comparison with the previous one. But as Carl mentions, for me too, when I listen to instrumental music that I really like, it's because there is still a story being told through the instrumentation, whether it be a guitar or something else. And it was kind of lacking here and there in this song. And it did sometimes border on background music for a movie or whatever. But which isn't a bad thing, because part of my focus was elsewhere anyway, and it was nice to have it on the background. I did note the track Odyssey, the third track, because there was a rhythmical development somewhere along the song that was interesting. It wasn't just chords or anything. There was a ba 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 ba. There was a development which I liked. Overall, I would. I'm looking forward to a re-listen of this album more than the previous one, but also as Carl mentioned, I have heard instrumental bands that bring something a lot more interesting than this, though. So it was nice and uplifting, but I think a little too nice. I was kind of waiting for, can't they just turn it around a little bit and make it go a little dissonant or evil in some parts? That would just a little more dynamics, I guess. But overall, it was a pleasant listen.
Okay, I'm nervous about this, but come on, Simon.
Well, I think you've all pretty much covered it. It is, it's a mood piece, isn't it? Every song is a mood piece, really. I think they try to take you off to some like mystical, magical place within the music. It's just, I can't say I was bored, but my mind was wandering. It was wondering, what would this be like if it was any good?
Oh, terrible.
No, I wonder if Rutger was a bit more open to this, because, like I just found out, you started off as an instrumental band, so I wonder if you're a bit more already open to listening to an album that's fully instrumental.
Well, yeah, continue. Sorry.
But it's probably good in the right setting, like a Sunday morning if you've got a hangover, or if you're doing something, put them on your headphones, like you were saying you were playing video games or something. I would imagine as background music, it's probably really good, and it would, it would pass by and you think, that was a decent song, I like that. On a movie soundtrack, you could easily see it accompany that. But is that really what we want from rock bands?
Post rock band. It's a post rock band.
What's a post rock band? Something that you open your mail.
It's beyond. It's beyond rock.
Yes.
All right.
It's what comes next.
Is
the
it?
Afterlife.
Yes.
Right. Brilliant. Will count me out. Hopefully, I'm deaf by then.
So
If this is what's after rock, I hope I'm dead. What I would say though is, I mean, I'm not a fan of long songs.
you're not.
we
You've
all
never
know.
said.
The longest song on this, I think, is just 2 seconds shy of 10 minutes.
1 second.
I think it's track 5, which is Embers.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And that's the best track on it. That is a good track. I thought track 5 was the best one.
Right. So you did have a favourite.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah. Listen, don't get me wrong. There's 9 songs. 8 of them failed. One of them was all right, which goes back to my previous thing, which I have said to you, Neil.
You have.
Is every band, I don't care who you are, whatever type of music you want to play, every band has one good song in them.
And it's
I don't care
track
who
5.
they are. It could be, and for these at the minute, it's track 5.
Yeah,
so I don't care what band it is. Even My Dying Bride, who are possibly one of the worst bands I've ever had to listen to, somewhere in their catalogue will be a good song.
Well,
there's many.
Well, we've yet to hear them. Or they've yet to write it, maybe.
Stop with a we.
But yeah, so... Yeah, it wasn't for me. Like Carl, I mean, it wasn't for me, but I was bored.
But no hatred.
And I was...
No hatred.
I mean, what can you hate about it?
No, I'm happy. I'm chuffed with that.
You know what I mean? What can you hate about it other than being bored and thinking, I wonder if it would be different if it did have some vocals in it,
which of course it would.
Dare I say, a guitar solo? No.
Yeah.
Well, I like it as it is. You see, so it's difficult for
you
me
do.
to wish for it to be different because I quite like it.
Yeah. Well, just something different. Only one song. Just change it up.
Okay.
Whatever.
Right. Well, that's 2 albums covered.
Yeah.
Right. So, come on, Rutger. Would you like to introduce the new Gnome album to Simon?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah. So, Simon, I'm pretty sure track number 5 is not going to be your favorite on my album, because track number 5 is a joke. No. So, yeah, Vestiges of Verumex Visidrome is it's my 3rd studio album, which we released. When did we release this? Half a year ago?
Yeah, it's about 6 months.
Yeah, something like that. What can I say? So our genre, we as mentioned before, we started out as an instrumental stoner band. But along the way, we started to focus a little more on catchy vocal hooks, on riffs that didn't overstay their welcome. So I think you can also see a trend in decreasing song lengths overall. Our longer songs are probably also noticeable on our first, most of all on our first record. A reason for that, by the way, is on our first 2 records, we each time have one really long song, about 10-ish minutes, and we just never play those live. Because not enough happens in them to account for all of the 10 minutes being interesting enough. And on top of that, we can play 2 or 3 short songs that do kick ass instead. So I just kind of stopped writing 2 long songs altogether. But so the new record, Vestiges of Verumex Visidrome, it's rock metal, has a stonerish vibe. We always have this kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of humor running through it. We don't take ourselves too seriously because we wear pointy hats. You can hear it, I think, in the music. You can definitely see it in the videos. But other than that, I'm just always trying to look for memorable riffs. I also always want to break up 4/4. I don't like a song, and certainly not an entire album, to just stay in 4/4. time measure the entire time. I like to break it up and spice it up a little bit. I did not do guitar solos a whole lot. Just I think the final track has I think the first and last guitar solo of the entire album, and that has also multiple reasons. I think I'm quite good at writing guitar riffs, but I'm not good at shredding. My fingers aren't very fast, and I can't do fancy things either. I can't do sweeps. I can't do crazy tappity stuff.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I think just like a good vocal hook, I think a good solo is also a clever melodic hook that captures people's attention. I personally don't really like listening to Guns N' Roses because someone like Slash is just gonna play 20-minute solos, and then you get 20 minutes of Axl Rose doing, and then you get 20 more minutes of Slash doing a solo. It just, when it's too much, it's too much. So if at all I write a solo, it needs to be short, it needs to be memorable, and it needs to serve the song. And if I can't figure out a solo that serves the purpose of the song, I just don't go for a solo at all. So yeah, I guess. Do I need to name a favorite track?
Yeah, put a song for the
We have a
playlist.
playlist, yeah.
Maybe I like most of them. I think
Well, that's good news because you wrote them.
I think John Frum is my favorite because it's a weird gospel-y kind of thing. I love it. And it has my wife singing in it.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's John from?
Oh, dude, you have
know
to.
him.
Yeah, you have to look up John Frum after this conversation. So John Frum, a couple years ago, I saw a documentary of how is he called? There's this German director who makes these off-putting documentaries. Werner Herzog. Do you
I know Werner Herzog.
Werner Herzog. Yeah, it was a documentary about erupting volcanoes, about a couple who chases volcano eruptions, and then apparently at the end of their journey, they get killed by lava from one particularly aggressive volcano. And somewhere along the documentary, he mentions some islands somewhere. Let me look them up real fast. Because there is I'm talking about the island of Tana in Vanuatu, which is, I think, I don't fucking know where it is. Anyhow, there is a very active volcano on the island, and very particularly, all the tribes and villages on the island, they believe in their deity, their messiah, John Frum. And John Frum is actually a cargo cult. So it's a kind of religion, I guess.
Oh, wow.
And their messiah is John Frum, which is supposedly he was an American soldier during, I think, the Second World War, who ended up showing up on this island and promising the villagers to return with weapons and with prosperity and stuff. So they're, to this day, praying for John Frum to return with a whole bunch of guns.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a funny story. So when I saw this in the documentary, I was like, okay, I can write a song about John Frum. And that's how that came about.
Well. Right, so now I know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Yeah,
Neil, what did you think of Gnome?
Well, I think all three of you know. I don't know how to talk about this album without gushing all over the place. I'm making
I
myself.
thought you were going to say crying. Then.
No, maybe.
Gushing like some of the
I'm
films
making
I've been
myself-
watching, mate. So
Yeah, if I keep on going for long, I'm going to give Simon ammo for years. So I'm not going to talk about this one for long. I love.
What are friends for?
I love Gnome. I love your music. It's incredible. Love this album. I mentioned when I wrote a review for the single Old Soul for the Miserable Metal Mind podcast review page, and it was because of my brother. I discovered Gnome for the video Wenceslas, and since then I have been hooked, and I am hooked deep. I love it. I love this album. I play it a lot. That's why I'm travelling over 200 miles to come and see you in Glasgow.
Yes!
And I can't wait. Yeah.
You know, he wants a picture with you. Look, this is what it's getting to, you know.
It will be my pleasure.
Well, that will be happening
He
as
wants
well.
the
Then.
signed
We'll
set
be
list as
in
well. That's what
Scotland.
he wants.
We will be.
Look
will
how
be-
red Neil's gone. It's as red as his t-shirt.
Wait how red he'll be when we're sipping whiskey in Scotland.
Yeah. So it's obviously I love it. I love it a lot. So we'll move on before I go even redder.
Carl,
Nice. Favorite
what are your
track?
thoughts?
I would say it's in between two. The Gods Are Evil, I would say,
Yes.
or Rotten Tongue. Also, I very much like that.
The heaviest song on the track.
Tongue.
Wow.
But yes,
It's, That's a song that gets my voice hoarse on tour.
Well, in that case,
But
I'll buy you a whiskey afterwards. Then.
Yes. It's such a banger song. Lovely. Thanks for the kind words.
Thanks for the music. Oh, shut up, Neil. Right, come on, Carl.
Carl, what do you think?
Okay,
man?
well, I'm glad you kind of, because I don't know too much about the band, to be honest, so it's quite good to learn that you're kind of on a bit of a journey. You started where you started, instrumental, stoner, and so I do get that, and I get, it's nice to hear you say that you have that sense of humour. Definitely got that. Definitely got the, as I hopefully comes across in translate, the quirk. It's quite a quirky side to this album. Almost every song's got a quirky bit in there. And I guess I'm when I was listening to it, I couldn't help but kind of not compare it musically, but kind of compare it to like an ethos to like System of a Down, who also had that kind of different sound that they mixed into a traditional. Theirs was very sort of like thrash metal. Yours is very like stoner metal with like a quirk thrown in. And so it kind of I guess what I'm saying, this album for me isn't the toxicity, but it could be the next one where you're developing both styles. You know what I mean? Because I just feel at the moment it didn't click 100% for me, but I just feel it's not far off with the quirky and the stoner side or the rock side. And I just think I don't know. I feel at the moment both feet are kind of firmly planted in both camps at the moment. Obviously with influences and where you're going forward with that, with the sense of humour and the kind of quirky and the strange parts. I'm just wondering if the stranger parts are going to get stranger and more quirky, and the kind of rockier parts are going to get more rockier. I'm wondering if that's going to be a better fit for me, because at the moment I kind of feel we're in a little bit in. It could go either way at the moment. And I kind of looking forward, like I guess what like Paul said about a few albums ago with another band. You can't wait to know what's happening next. But I did enjoy it. My only fear is I mean, I enjoy quirky music. I enjoy stoner. I enjoy long songs, short songs. It's okay. I like it, and I enjoyed listening to it. I'm just wondering what your opinion of it really, Rutger, is that some sort of this groundbreaking, this kind of experimental, this way that you're pushing, could it fall between the cracks for some people? We could mention lots of bands that have tried lots of good, innovative stuff that have just fallen down the cracks because they're too innovative and people aren't ready for them yet. Are you worried about that?
Fair point. I don't think I'm too worried about that. No, I approach it a little more from because we started out in the stoner scene. I think the stoner scene is really quite boring. There is so many stoner bands still forming to this day, and they all just do the Caius thing or the Black Sabbath thing to death. And I just like giving it a little tongue-in-cheek side, not taking ourselves too seriously. I can follow perfectly with the analogy with System of a Down, because they obviously also have this not taking themselves too seriously, making it quite funny and quirky, but it's obviously no toxicity, or I'd be rich by now. Am I worried? No, it's you can only please so many people. I don't want to make music that pleases everybody. I'd rather have haters and people who adore it than to have everybody like it.
Yeah.
You know. So no, we're gonna keep pushing. I think in both directions, getting the rock metal side maybe tighter, maybe cooler, maybe crazier. I don't think we're gonna push the humor side too much, because I don't want it to become to become a joke. That's maybe a direction I don't want to go.
I guess quirky could go a bit more strange, if you like, a bit more primacy with some of the stuff. That's what that's how I felt about it. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't you weren't messing around. It's more this, how can we make this a little bit weird? And I do think you're right. We have a urban festival in London called Desert Fest. I'm sure you've heard of it. And it's like wall-to-wall stoner bands. And I'm sure if you could find yourself on that bill quite easily, I'm sure. And if you were, you'd stand out big time, because there would be no, like you say, all the stoner bands are head down, hair over their eyes, and are very slow, aren't they? Whereas you would kind of lighten it up a
Not
bit.
all of them. Come on, Carl. Come on, Carl.
It is true. It is true that stoner, it's a bit like hardcore in the respect. If you love it, it's fine, but it's a tough nut to crack at times, isn't it?
That's fair. If you don't like stoner, you're not liking Desert Fest.
Yeah. We have played Desert Fest London. Okay. We've also played Desert Fest Berlin and Antwerp as well. We haven't played New York, because that's as aforementioned quite expensive and quite far away. Those are exactly my type of festivals. And we do stand out. That's what I was trying to say with the general stoner or doom band is, to my ears, a little too boring. They tend to just, we have this one riff, let's repeat it for 20 minutes and then sing on 2 notes. It gets repetitive. And that's why I try to break it up with a new riff, another riff, try to make it slower, faster, go harder, go softer. But there's always more work to do and growth to be made.
I think there's definitely room for that, and I look forward to seeing what happens. And I think, as far as what you're saying, if the mission statement was to break up that traditional stoner kind of algorithm, you've definitely hit that mission. You've definitely hit that. So, that's good.
Great, thank you.
Right, he's well, let's have it. Come on.
I'm a bit pissed off Carl's just mentioned Primus, because I was thinking, no one's mentioned Primus. I really liked it from the off, and I like every little thing that you do and you put in each song as well. Like, you've got some of the intros start off. I've only just listened to the album, else I've been out running. They start off one way, then the riff kicks in. I think it's the first song. The bass is reminding me the sound, really nice, like distorted bass sound that you've got on it. Reminded me of something that you'd hear Timmy C from Rage Against the Machine, that type of bass where it's really in the foreground.
Oh yeah,
and it's more or less overtaking the rest. It's going long, and then the drums and the bass at the same time. That groove they've got with it, that really nice big fat sound you've got on it. Then a couple of songs in, I think it's near the end of the song, you hit like a half-time beat as well, the end of it. And then I think it's track 7, I might be wrong, so you have to forgive me, so I don't know what the tracks are. But it is...
7 is Rotten Tongue. Rotten Tongue is track 7.
So I think there's a bit in it where you kind of just... your drums speed up and... they just go a little bit out of time, not that it's out of time with what you're all playing, but it just speeds up from everything else, and it kind of goes back in.
A bit of Danny Carey.
Just and little things like that really, really stand out. Like you were saying, from other stoner bands. I mean, I don't think you're a stoner band anyway. This is the only album I've heard of yours. Well, you're not a stoner band for me. And Neil has brought 1,000 of them. About 3 have been good, but when you're saying that they all do start sounding the same, they all do start sounding the same. You know, some are good, some aren't. Molasses. And then, but where you are standing out is every song. There is something different in every song, and your sense of humour certainly comes through on them as well. Whether it be you're using a sample of something, or I don't know if you're using samples, or if you put in, with you before saying everything you like to create yourself. But I think sometimes at the beginning of songs or end of songs, you've got little sound bites, or there's little things you've put in there.
Yeah.
But again, I really like everything like that. And there's parts of it remind me of I'd have thought early Faith No More. There's bits that remind me of early Chili Peppers in there. You know, the bass playing on this I think is really good as well. Are you just googling early Chili Peppers?
I'm googling Faith No More.
All right.
It's the funky bass.
Yeah. And but then again, like Primus. I mean, I think Primus went a little bit too. With what Carl was saying before, they went a little bit too silly. But songs like John the Fisherman, what's the other song they do? It might be John the Fisherman. I'm thinking of the.
Yeah, it's Wyoming's Big Brown Beaver.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, stuff like that. You know, that is and Tommy the Cat. That is their them at their prime.
Yeah, I don't think you can disagree about Primus going a bit too strange, but it's hard to argue with the fact, and I don't really know how it works, but they are huge. They're such a huge band, which is so bizarre for a band that's so far out there in how
I think sometimes the bizarre can work. You know, if it works for them, why can't it work for you? As long as it doesn't become
it is original.
Silly.
It is original and creative, at least.
Yeah,
you know.
But anyway, off them and on to you. I really liked it, and this isn't the first time I've had to gush over this. I don't know why Neil was even worried about this, because last we did this. Someone brought the album a couple of months ago, and
the recording messed up.
Podcast didn't record because of someone's internet problems. But I think I liked it then, and I liked it now. And I've had to listen to I've listened to all 3 albums today.
Have you?
Because I kind of forgot we were doing it. So
you've never done that. You've never done that.
I know. So I've been panicking. I've literally I finished Gnome at about 7:05. So it certainly stands out compared to the other 2 that I've had to listen to as well today. So
there we go.
Yeah, well, thanks for the kind words, but I appreciate everything all of you have said. I think also Carl's points. We definitely still have room to grow, and I hope we can still grow and really reach a level where we have this thing defined that's 100% us. And my goal is to just have as much fun as I can along the way. That's
can't argue with that.
And that fun will come across as well, because I think it comes across now in the music. So if it comes across live and on
the
record,
as well.
and
in videos it does as well.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah.
Right. Well, as soon as we're on you, Simon, are we going to go for your classic?
Play something we know.
Yeah, well, seeing as no one heard my Gnome review a couple of months ago, they wouldn't have heard this classic, so I'm regurgitating the classic as well. The I think this is the best album for any young or up and coming guitarist, drummer, bassist. It doesn't matter what you're playing. Put this album on, learn to play along with it, and then you can, as long as this album's playing it, if it's a backing track you want to play to, if you're learning the drums, put the bass and guitar on. Once you know the steady beat, you can go off on a tangent, put your solos in there, put your fills in there where the drummer doesn't. Likewise, if you want to learn guitar, learn the rhythm guitar, then go and bang your own solos over the top. Bass, I don't know anything about bass playing, but not many bass players know much about bass playing either, do they? Let's be honest. And then this is AC/DC, Back in Black. I don't think they ever got any better than this. I think 1 to 10 is brilliant. I always think after this album, it was always a 5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10. I don't think they ever did
no.
an album. Go on, name it.
What, Those About to Rock?
All of it?
No.
All of
but
it?
It doesn't deserve a 5.
No, I said 6, 7. No, this is a 10 out of 10.
Right, okay.
Do you have a favorite track on it?
For this, the Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And I've got great memories of me and a few of my mates.
You got
when we.
sorry.
Let me rephrase that. People I know.
Yeah.
People I know. Sorry. Me and some people I know, singing our heads off in a house to this song. It was like we were watching them live. It was that loud. Love it. Absolutely love it. I love the album. I think it's brilliant. Although, 7 of the songs are all about shagging in some way or another.
And drinking.
Yeah, shagging and drinking. Yeah.
So that's AC/DC.
I think this is the definitive AC/DC album.
Right.
I know there's those who like Bon Scott, but I don't think the albums before with Bon Scott. I don't think they could be the 7 or 8 out of 10. I don't think they're as good as Back in Black. I would have liked to have known what it would have sounded like if he would have brought different types of lyrics or choruses to it or something like that. That would have been interesting.
I'm sure he would have done. Yeah,
but hey ho, we didn't. We got Brian, and we got a classic.
I'd just like to congratulate you for actually bringing a classic.
Last month was a classic, you prick.
Yeah, but the one before wasn't.
What was the one before? You did the one before.
Oh yeah.
The one before was My Dying Bride, and they're fucking awful.
The one before was Love Hate.
Love Hate's brilliant.
Love Hate's awful.
How can you like stoner metal, right? And not like Love Hate?
Where?
It's literally, it's like one step. It's like post stoner metal. Or it's pre-stoner metal.
It's pre-stoner metal, and it's got nothing to do with stoner metal. And I'm not discussing Love Hate. I'm not talking about Love Hate again. You've brought on AC/DC, and I'm congratulating you. Let's stick. You take the plaudits, and I'll leave the piss taking for episodes ago.
Hang on, applaud.
So yeah, it's a belter album. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think now whether I think it's the best or not. I'm not sure.
It's got. I'm sure if Paul was here, he said they've done it in the daily mix or something, and it scored higher than anything else.
Did we?
Carl, would you know about
we
that?
did do an AC/DC daily, and it did score highly. Although I don't think it was the highest. I don't think it got the highest.
I don't think it got the highest.
Well, listen, as we found out last week, not everyone knows what they're on about in that group. Carl Neals rang me up and said everybody hates me because I give Black Sabbath album 0.
Yeah, I think so you need to get your head tested or something was the one of the comments on there.
Yeah, he rang me up at work. He says, "Simon, what are you doing? Everybody hates you." I thought finally the podcast is working.
So you definitely have this above Our Way to Hell. I know this that was before. I know.
Yeah, but again, Highway to Hell, every song a classic.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no, filler.
Ooh.
See that's
Wait. While Neil looks at iTunes,
He is.
squints
That's
at
exactly what he's
iTunes.
doing.
Carl, what do you think?
yeah.
of
No, I love
AC/DC?
AC/DC. They're one of the first bands I ever got into, and Back in Black. It's one of those that everyone's got a copy of this apparently, isn't it? Or 2 copies of it or something, isn't it? A ratio of fan.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anywhere near their best. It's not my go-to AC/DC album. I would say it's quite mid-table for me, to be quite honest. I know you said from 1 to 10 it's a classic. No, I don't think it is. I think there's half of it real classics. I think they later on in the career they produced songs that were better than this, but not albums. This is the last great album that AC/DC made, just because I think someone had a word with them, as we're finding out now with the internet and Spotify, that bands were like, whoa, don't put all your classic tracks in one basket, save a couple, fill it up with filler. You've got 2 albums instead of 1, because who's going to listen to them? The real fans are going to like it anyway, and then the people that don't buy the album are going to buy the single. Either way, you win. Well, as it turns out now,
That's a very, very cynical place to be, Carl. I don't think that's true.
Think where they were before, leading up to this, and where they went afterwards. I mean, Flick of the Switch is pretty much off the cliff. They've almost divorced that album. I think it's a pretty good raw rock and roll album, but there's no kind of mentionable classic on it. From there on in, they kind of
Fly on the Wall.
Well, that was a little bit afterwards. And again, they had I think Who Made Who is a classic example. They had one very good song, and then I know it was a soundtracky type thing. I think of Blow Up Your Video, they had Heat Seeker that was riding high in the chart. Not a great deal after that. That's the Way I Like to Rock and Roll, and then of course the Razor's Edge, where you got Thunderstruck, that absolutely I think is one of AC/DC's best songs. And if it was on this instead of one of the others, it would absolutely crucify. But that album, after that song, is a bit thin, and they were riding high on that.
Oh, hang on, wait a minute.
Go on.
Hang on. What's track 2 on the Razor's Edge? Shoot to Thrill.
Shoot to Thrill. On Razor's Edge, is it?
Classic.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. No, sorry.
Is that sort of
Take it
Guns
back.
to Fire
Shoot
or
to
something
Thrill
like
is
that,
back
isn't it?
in
Second track on Razor's Edge.
No, I think it's on that.
I love it when
Razor's
Simon
Edge.
tries to talk to what he's talking
No,
about.
I don't think Shoot to Thrill's on
It's,
the game.
No, it's not.
It's Fire Your
Your
Guns.
Guns,
Fire
yeah.
Your Guns.
Yeah,
It's,
Fire Your Guns. Fire Your Guns
That's
is
all right.
a good song.
It's all right.
It's
It's all right.
And I think Razor's Edge. I think the title track Razor's Edge is a good song.
I
as well.
like Money Talks. It's the third
It's the second single,
track
yeah.
on
Razor's Edge is. Razor's Edge is. I think it's a 6.5 to 7 out of 10.
But then, like I say,
I think that's their last decent
it's a
album.
bit top heavy that though.
Second half of the album is
Yes, you can forget it, and that's kind of what I feel with ACD. I mean, my go-to is always Dirty Deeds. After that, it's Highway to Hell. I'm probably pulling out Power Age before this one. Definitely for those, If You Want Blood is coming out before I get to Back in Black. So I kind of feel
that surprises me. That
well,
surprises me. That,
I mean, I do love it. I just having said that, if I were to score this, it would be a sort of 8.5, 9 out of 10 because it's some great stuff on here. Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution being one of them. Certainly the title track, Hell's Bells, all of those ones. But again, I just feel some of the songs aren't as good as the others, but still very enjoyable. And to be honest, even the Blow Up Your Video, for example, I said it's very top heavy with Heat Seeker and That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll. Even when you get down to like Go Zone and things like that on that album, I'm still about a 7 out of 10, a 7.5. So it never really falls that down below for me for AC/DC. So they can't really do that wrong. It's just as far as we're talking the top table here, they're sort of like halfway down on the top table for me. But a great pick and a great listen. It's 40 minutes long. You're never far away from a sing song or a song that you know from it. So in that respect, it is a classic and a great album and a good pick.
Rutger, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so AC/DC, I'm a 90s kid, so by the time I started to listen to AC/DC, they already had about 15, 20 albums out. So I became familiar with AC/DC through their biggest hits. Amazing band, amazing stuff. What I always had, the first times you hear AC/DC, especially when you're young, you're blown away because it's so good.
Yeah.
Then I start playing guitar myself, and then you can kind of turn into a snob, which I had a little bit of in me for a time, where I was like, AC/DC, it's good, but it's so simple. It's too simple. The drums, it's always the same. It's just chords, and then the shouting on top. But when I started to grow as a musician, I completely turned my opinion around, because I think simple songs that work great are probably the most difficult to write and to pull off. And I don't think you can deny the fact that AC/DC has a ginormous basket full of classics. I must admit, I rarely listen to them through an entire album at the time. I usually just listen to some of the great hits. But as I'm looking at all of the titles on Back in Black, it is a classic album. I don't think it can be denied. I think I like all of the songs on there. I do agree with Carl that it might be their best full album, because afterwards they have released songs that might be better than a lot of the songs on Back in Black, but the albums don't get better after Back in Black. I love it. I think AC/DC is one of the greatest bands ever, and deservedly so. It's a great pick, and I love it. I think my favorite track might be maybe You Shook Me All Night Long, or no, I think You Shook Me All Night Long. I love it.
Good chords in that. The opening chords in that are really good.
Have you seen any footage of the recent tours?
Of
Are you asking
AC/DC?
me?
Anybody? Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, I brought this up not so long ago.
Go on, what did you say? Because I was probably just shut off to you.
Yeah, probably as usual. I was saying it's time for them to call it a day, because he looks like an old man, really old man.
Right.
Time to retire,
I do remember that as well.
Yeah,
Right.
I said it's time to call it a day.
What did you think of Axl Rose singing AC/DC?
I was quite surprised. I don't have much time for Axl Rose, but it seemed like, as he was employed, because the Youngs are in charge, aren't they? So he was employed to do a job. He did actually do that job.
Yeah.
So I've got to be hand on heart and say,
I think if there's someone that can replicate Brian Johnson, Axl Rose isn't that far away.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily want him to be replicated. You just want to go and watch some good rock and roll tunes.
I think
I
think it was the making of Axl Rose, actually. I think because I saw AC/DC on not this tour but the last one, and they are like a machine rolling through a town. They really take over everything, and Angus Young is the centre of that wheel, I believe. And I think Axl Rose saw that and thought, wow, he's like clockwork. He's on stage when he's going to say he's going to be on stage. He's here when he's going to say. The band are all know what's going on. This is running like clockwork. He's making loads of money hand over fist. And I've got a band that could be like this. And ever since then, Axl Rose has almost turned into this. I don't want to be chaotic coming on at 9 o'clock in the morning anymore. I'm going to come on at reasonable times when fans expect, and I'm going to put on the show that everyone wants, because when I played with AC/DC, that's what we did, and it was stadium after stadium after stadium, happy review. So I really do think it was the making of Axl Rose, and I'm glad he did it.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good point, because before that he's an utter prick.
He was.
Yeah. I was surprised because I think Axl Rose did quite well, He sounded quite good in AC/DC, but when I see Guns N' Roses live, oh boy, it's a train wreck. Lately,
Yeah.
they need to retire a lot faster than AC/DC do, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. So
Agreed. Listen, I've got a long list of these old bands that need to retire.
Yeah, old
I'm
bastards.
sick of them. I'm sick of them.
Gotta
They're taking
go.
up your spot here. You know?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, that's the problem. Tell them to fuck right off.
Well. How cool is it when a guy from a band you really love turns out to be a brilliant guest? I'm sure you would agree. Rutger genuinely was a very good guest. The Gnome tour hits the UK on the 30th of April at Brighton. Then moving on May the 1st to Camden, May the 2nd Birmingham, May the 3rd Glasgow, as mentioned in the podcast, May the 4th at Pontefract, as mentioned in the podcast, and May the 5th in Swansea. I am very much looking forward to that Glasgow gig. If you're there, come say hello, it would be great. I would really like to thank Carl for stepping in and helping out while Paul is taking a break. Carl runs the metal album of the Fortnight Club along with Mr. Robin McGuire. It's a very cool place to be. Go check it out. If you're a metal fan, you'll love it. Thanks, Carl. We love you. So, as I say every month, have a listen to all the bands we mention in these episodes. That's the whole point of doing these podcasts. This was a long show, so I will leave you now. God, well done for getting to the end. Wow, nice one. Cheers. Bye.